Video. There you go, there you go. There go my people, that's my little brother. He ain't so little no more. Yeah. I don't care what nobody play, man. I gotta do what I gotta do. Baby, you cannot be in the sink. What are you doing? What up, people? Alright, what's up, people? My name is Tim Black. Welcome to the Tim Black Show. It's Friday night, and you know what we got in store for you? Another punch you in the mouth segment of the Tim Black Show, the most dangerous show in America right now. Staying dangerous, Johnson. What's up to my moderators? It's time for the moderators. I want to thank Elizabeth, Lunny, Nene, and the one and only Rain for being in the building. Thank you. Yeah. And we are locked in and loaded. Shout out to my brother Musa Abdullah, Dr. Musa Abdullah from the All Things Education official on YouTube, the FBA educator on TikTok, and my brother Sergeant of Knocking Down Subjects. Man, we had a great show yesterday. We had a great show yesterday. If you missed it, go check it out on his channel. He's got the live joint on his channel as well. All Things Education Official. We're on a run to get him. His channel needs to be monetized. He's been doing this show with me damn near a year. We got to get him some subscribers. We got to get him some watch time. We got to get Dr. Abdullah some subscribers and some watch time. He deserves it. His content is top notch. He never shortcuts. So go over there. All Things Education Official. Sign up, watch 5 videos. Tell them Tim Black sent you. We got to take care of each other because if we don't, nobody else will. And he really has good content. I mean, the content is off the chart. I put out a short video this weekend. I put out a short video today. I'm sure we'll do well over the weekend. I put it on my social. He put it on his YouTube. And he's gonna probably put it on his social as well. We gotta get people to see that. Very introspective, very detailed analysis, very logical, very reasonable analysis of a number of things concerning the Black community, man. And we need that. We need that. You know what I'm saying? We need reasoned, seasoned, educated viewpoints on topics from somebody who gives a shit about us. So definitely all heart, definitely his heart's in the right place. Let's do that. Once again, the sponsor of tonight's show, the FBA educator, All Things Education Official. I'm going to keep reminding you throughout the show. Wow. Woo. Where are we at, man? Where's everybody, man? Do I got people in the building here? I got my people in the house. Let's see who's in the building, man. You know we got a lot of content tonight. What up, Don? What's happening? Don Rich in the building. Back once again. The Quan for Life is in the building, as well as Jarrell. What up, Jay? Yeah, the Retro Black Wolf is in the building. I'll take that. Give that up. That's what's up. Run your pockets. Number 11 in the building. Can we get the likes up, folks? They're coming through. So everybody come on in. Let's get the likes up. Come on. Come on now. Yeah, we're going to do it tonight. Yo, Punch them in the mouth Fridays are very much, I leave it all on the field. I don't save nothing. I treat Fridays like, what if I lose my voice tomorrow? I use Fridays like, I do my Friday show like, what if I lost my voice tomorrow? What if I wake up and there's no channel? What if it's my last time to broadcast? What if? So that's what you in store for tonight, fam? Yeah, you ain't know it's going to get that serious, did you? Yeah, it's going to get that serious, man. I want to thank my people for coming through, man. Hit the like button, share this on your way. Do I got any sisters out there tonight? Rain of Tears is in the building. That's my brother. My colleagues in the building. Any sisters in here? It's a bunch of hardheads. I don't know. I think Sister Fly Foxy Creations. I don't know too many brothers that call themselves Foxy. So that's got to be a sister. What's up, Foxy? How you doing? Like a free community service, too. That's it. That's it. Man, they coming for them boys, Earn Your Leisure's neck, ain't they? Boy, they coming for their necks, aren't they, fam? Boy, you know, I'm trying to tell you, boy. I'm trying to tell you, man. I don't know if you can come back from this. I said, I don't know if you can come back from this, man. Part of the problem getting older and having a business, you know, people that realize I think people forget I run a business. Right. So I can't catch all the news myself. The things I miss because I'm doing so much constantly every day of the week, man. So I did not have a full scope of the Earn Your Leisure. You know, because they called out Rashad. That's his name. Rashad got pissed off. He got pissed off and he said some things about the Invest Fest. He ticked people off, fam. And you know what, fam? I had not watched the whole thing, but Dr. Musa and I, we had a conversation about it. And I'm gonna say what it is. Like, look, I would like to update my ruling. I would like to update my ruling when it comes to the Earn Your Leisure. Yeah, I saw a video by O'Shea Duke Jackson. Shout out to my brother O'Shea Duke Jackson. Shout that out. A friend of Dr. Musa is a friend of me. And he broke down some of the grifting breadcrumbs leading their way to the Earn Your Leisure folks. Then I saw a brother by the name of Black Dot and his son. Shout out to Black Dot and his son. Now, initially, fam, all I knew was Brother Rashad of Earn Your Leisure said some things that were out of pocket. The brother got off code. Now, I'm a person who has a temper. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can get pissed off. I can go 0 to 60. It's good for content, but sometimes it's not good for, you know, decision making. You know what I'm saying? When you got a mic and you can talk. You know, it's good for entertainment. But, you know, when it comes to, like, having civility, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes, you know, scorched earth. Gatling gun. You know what I'm saying? Predator face. Bill Duke. So, you know, when I saw a brief clip of Rashad losing his cool, man, saying some things about the black community, man. Now, I know what that's like when you get pissed off. You know what I'm saying? I get pissed off at least one day a week. So I'm prone to say, hey, get that brother a pass. Everybody has a bad day from here, here and there. You know what I'm saying? Now, I rarely, if ever, say the black community. I go out to individual people. I don't be like, oh, y'all black people, I'm tired of black people. That's crazy. So when I talked to Dr. Musa, we didn't play any clips. And I was kind of like, leaning on the benefit of Dr. Musa to kind of give me, the full scope of what happened with Rashad and Earn Your Leisure. And I think he was being a little charitable because he's a good guy. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens when you got a doctorate degree. That's what happens when you're an educator. You know what I'm saying? You tend to be logical, reasonable. You know what I'm saying? To a certain extent anyway. And I think now that I know more about what Earn Your Leisure said, man. What's that sound? The gallows? Yeah, man, don't look good, fam. It don't look good, fam. Not only did they dump on Black America, which is enough to get your ass fried, he dumped on Atlanta. Black Mecca, it's called. Fam, how could you go somewhere, have an invest fest in a city for a number of years? I think he's been there. How could you be so bitter about people in your comment section saying some stuff you ain't like that you're gonna roast Black America, say you don't need black people, you got some Filipinos and some Latinas, some Latinxes, then you're gonna roast Atlanta too? Now I know why Killer Mike and Tessa Figueroa was roasting your ass. Now I get it. I wasn't gonna comment on that because I didn't know the full scope of what happened. Tessin was mad. Killer Mike was like, look, you know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to get through them boys, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Let me let Tessin do a thing. Tessa looked like she was mad because she didn't get, didn't get to speak. That's what I thought. I was like, Tessa mad because they didn't put money in people's pocket and put no money in her pocket, and she's pretty, strong ass speaker. If you want to have an event, you're going to be inviting people to just talk. That ain't investors. She's an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? But why you ain't, you know what I'm saying? But hey, I'm partial. That's my sister. She be looking out for me. Tezin dope. Tezin recommended me to Fox one time to come on there to do a segment. And she ain't just tell me, she showed me like, look, Tim, this is what I sent on your behalf, son. Fam. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, you ain't had to do that, Tez. I appreciate you, though. They never got back to me. That ain't the point. The point is this. Earn Your Leisure. I think they done, son. Because this is the problem. When you dump on all of Black America and just come back with, I had a bad day. I had a bad day. That ain't gonna work. Fam, I lost my dad and my daughter in nearly the same year. I didn't know if the baby's gonna be okay. I didn't know shit. I didn't know how I was gonna take care of everybody. And progressives never forgave me for my shit. I told Breonna Joy Gray, listen, Fuck a comment section. My dad died, then my daughter died suddenly. I wasn't myself. She was like, okay, nigger. Whatever. Dark. I said, Brianna, what I'm saying? I was kind of pissed off at you, but I realized looking back, mainly it was because I was in so much mourning, you know what I'm saying? I was so pissed off. I wasn't myself, man. I was just, my dad had died and then my daughter died suddenly and now I got my grandbabies living with me. It's just a lot. And I realized now that I misdirected some of my anger. She was like, uh-huh. You would have thought I stole money from her or something. You would have thought I wrecked her car or something. You know what I'm saying? So when I say all that to say, ain't no way Black America getting over you. Talk about bump Black America. I got the whites over here. I couldn't even get a pass. And I had deaths I had my firstborn die. And motherfuckers is like, I wish you'd stop talking about it. Jesus. Those are Black people. Some of them in the comment section now going, here we go again. See, people don't care, man. They don't care, fam. Do you bring value? Damn it, do you bring value? Someone said, O'Shea Duke Jackson said, maybe it was him. I think maybe it was Black Dot. He was like, how many millionaires have been made from their broadcast? I know they made a lot of money, but if you're an investor and that's your claim to fame is you be investing, you teaching people how to invest, how many millionaires have you made from following you? How many millionaires have you? That's, because like if I'm going to a doctor to lose weight, I want to know how many pounds he help people lose. If you be fixing people's cars, you know what I'm saying? I want to know how many cars you fix. I mean, if you're doing nose jobs or paint jobs or boob jobs or whatever you're doing, we want to see it. We don't want to see how many times you had 19 keys on the show. I don't care about that. They up in this joint on the YouTube they're on YouTube talking about all types of shit, politics, which they don't know nothing about. What that got to do with your investments? Up here talking about cultural issues. Like, I thought they was the investment guys. They done use one thing to talk about another thing, to talk about another thing, to talk about another thing. And I'm like, why people? I don't get it. For 14, almost 15 years, I've been talking about politics, breaking news, and Black culture. I ain't teaching y'all how to make model planes up this motherfucker. I don't teach you botany. I'm Black, so I guess I'll just talk about botany. Yeah, it's just like what happens is when you get a celebrity co-sign you and they come on your show, I guess it gives you a forte to talk about anything. You know what I'm saying? Because now we just trading the celebrity, the voyeuristic nature of our culture. Now you just cash in on that shit. Even if the tangibles, you really don't have those. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I remember when I had comedian Tony Roberts on the show. Good up for my brother Tony Roberts. And I'm going to tell you something he said to me, man. As we were doing that segment, it's live on air. I got receipts. He says, Tim Black, man, you like the Black CNN up in this one. Yeah, see, because that's dope because I do commentary and news, right? So, earn your leisure. Somebody's supposed to look at them and say, you like the Black Rupert Murdoch, or not Murdoch. What's the guy? What's the Jewish dude with all the money? You know what I'm saying? You like the Black Bill Gates. You like they're supposed to call you that. I'm saying some amazing investor who has done very well with the investments. You like the Black, there's already a Black Byron Allen, so I can't say that. Y'all get what I'm saying? Like, you're supposed to get compared to people that do investing. You ain't supposed to get compared to KRS-One. You don't rap. But see, that's what happens. So back to my point about earn your leisure. I'm not rooting for your demise. But I saw a video where you had a lot of people that were grifting that came through your channel. And for instance, guys, some of you may recall I did a segment. I was talking to people on a live show, and I was saying how I'm building out a verified black business repository listing. And I want you to submit your black small business, and we want to promote you for free. And some of you may be wondering what happened to that. Well, I had to do a lot of checks and balances. I had like 20 businesses submit their names, their information. You can imagine, because it's free, right? But now I got to go through the Better Business Bureau. I got to verify that you're a black-owned business, at least 51%. I got to check and make sure that you are actually licensed and set up. I got to make sure you do good business. I got to do all these things before I put you on the list. And then I realize there's a liability that comes with that as well. So I'm not trying to move fast on it. I have your information. I just have to vet everything. And it turns out that ain't what Earn Your Leisure was doing when they bringing people on the show. It turns out that ain't what they do when they bring people on their Invest Fest. So that's crazy talk. If you're going to complain about black people not wanting to spend $300 or whatever it was, come on, man. To be bamboozled, potentially? Now, I don't know this. I'm watching videos. Like I say, I don't know these guys personally. They was caping so hard for Karmelo, they just made me just be like, I talked about them in one video in the last 5 years, and that was because they were caping for Karmelo. I didn't understand the shit. Now I do. They with them Democrats. It's supposed to be about that paper, not about them Democrats. To me, some of them always, I don't know all of them, you know what I'm saying? But the one with Rashad always seemed a little arrogant. Him and the short one, you know what I'm saying? It seemed like, you know what I'm saying? It seemed a little arrogant to me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's how it seemed to me. You know, I don't know. I don't know them. Maybe they're really nice people in person. Seem a little bit sway, you know. You know, that pompous shit, I don't like that, man. I don't like that. My man Black Dot was like, when they like gym teachers or some shit? You know, I could teach you government contracting. I was a government contractor for 15 years. I could teach you technology, the technology industry, how to get in there and make a living. I did that for 15, 20 years. I mean, those things, I was a government contractor, and I did, you know, engineering, and I did, you know, network security, and I did logistics, technical logistics for a number of offices in the HUD, Housing and Urban Development. I did that. I managed all of the technical devices for housing and urban developments, CIO and higher, the higher positions, in the government appointee, the HUD secretary himself. So that's what I did. So I could teach you that shit because I did that for a living, got paid to do it. We got people teaching people how to do stuff they never got paid to do. And it's like they're making their money off telling you about some shit they didn't make. You know what I'm saying? All that being said, fam, I got a great show for you tonight. Look, man, it is what it is. We gotta vet people accordingly. We gotta vet people accordingly. All right? My first, one last thing before we go to the night show. I want everybody to come in, hit the like button. Tim Black's Old Man Tim selling stories. True ones. My first on air, live, credential commentary, news commentary was on the Kathy Hughes Morning Show with Armstrong Williams. And I was debating Armstrong Williams about racial profiling. I was 20 years old. My mom was like, you was on the radio. I was like, I know, Ma. I told you. I came up to, they had me come up to the station and everything. It wasn't no call-in shit. I was at the radio station. When I left, I got cassette tapes. I'm at the Library of Congress for that shit. So, people should have receipts for what they do. And it may sound like bragging, but I'm telling you, damn it, it's credentials. That's all. It's credentials. That's not bragging. That's not arrogance. That's validating that you're in the appropriate place for the thing you came to get. That's valid that I'm qualified and have a track record of doing XYZ in a space, so you ain't being bamboozled. Now, that doesn't guarantee that a brother's good about his shit or that he's going to be honest with you. I'm just going to be real. Anybody can lie, deny, whatever. But you got more of a chance of getting quality products and services from people who have a credentialed, credible background that's verifiable in that industry or in that business. Am I right? Am that make sense? And still, there's going to be people with more credentials. Compared to me, it's going to be people with more credentials. So I'm not saying I'm the end-all, be-all. But you can't bring nobody to me who ain't been doing this shit for 2 minutes. And I got to compete against them. And you're like, I like him better. That's because you like what somebody's saying to you. What do you know about 2008, 2012, 2016? What do you know about 2020? What they know about anything election related, politics related? Nothing. But they know how to say, cut the check. And I'm not talking about him. He's been doing this shit for a long time. I'm not talking about, because everybody want to put me against brothers that, I ain't talking about black authority. I ain't talking about him. I'm talking about other people. Just because they know a couple buzzwords, they know what tether is and delineation, doesn't mean, let me stop, man. Let me stop. Let's go. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to get pitted against people that I'm not talking about. You know what I'm saying? They don't talk about me, I ain't talk about them. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And also realize that people that don't talk about you because you're competition. They'll never talk about you. I had no problem mentioning my competition or people that I'm also in this industry with, because I do my thing a different way than they do theirs. If you can't choose between each other, why you got to choose? It's all free. You know what I'm saying? You got free channels. What? You know what I'm saying? But damn, Johnson, it feel good to be a gangster. My name is Tim Black. If you're new to the show, I live stream Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Fridays, punch you in the mouth Friday. I got stories because I did shit. I have stories because everybody and their mama been on this show. Congressmen, presidential candidates, business owners, they've been here. Actors, directors, authors, philosophers, you know what I'm saying? PhD doctors, they've been here. So we're going to have all that is brought to you by my brother, Dr. Musa Abdullah, who's my co-host for Beyond the Talking Points. Sponsor of tonight's show is the FBA Educator, also found on YouTube, All Things Education Official, Dr. Musa Abdullah. Go subscribe to him. Let's get into our first segment of the night. Shout out to my moderators who put up with a brother. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to Reign of Tears, Nene and Elizabeth Lunny, and my OG moderators, Buck, Black Mamba, and Ebony. And one and only, the one and only, Amen Eyes. Let's get it going, Johnson. I'm excited as you are. Tim Black, what's the topic tonight? Everybody in the building now, Tim. Let's do this. See where we at. There we go. Yeah, fam. Told you I don't mess with.
No filters, just the truth.
This afternoon, we are also following the latest developments in the Karmelo Anthony appeal. His lawyers now asking for a new trial for him. Anthony is currently serving 35 years in prison for killing Austin Metcalf at a high school track meet in Frisco last year. Senior crime and justice reporter Rebecca Lopez has been in the court all day today and joins us now live from Collin County with the very latest on this. What can you tell us, Rebecca?
Well, let me tell you, Jason, there was a lot to unpack here today. The testimony today included that there are allegations of a history of violence and racist incidents involving Austin and Hunter Metcalf. The courtroom also heard testimony that there was a problem also and some history with Karmelo Anthony's character and background, and both prosecutors and defense attorneys were trying to keep this out of the original trial. Now, Anthony's lead attorney, Mike Howard, took the stand this afternoon, and he testified why he and co-counsel Toby Shook made an agreement with prosecutors to keep that information about the character and background of the Metcalf twins out of this, and also about Karmelo Anthony. Now, Howard testified that the defense learned that there were more than 53 incidents involving Austin and Hunter Metcalf in which they're accused of fighting, assaulting other students, and using racial slurs against black students. He also testified that in a couple of cases they were accused of assaulting young women, and that teachers had complained that sometimes they were making derogatory comments towards teachers. And Howard said that some of those incidents went all the way back for years and showed a history and a pattern of violence and aggressive behavior on the part of Hunter and Austin Metcalf.
Okay, so that covers that side of it, Rebecca, but there was also testimony, as you said, about information about Karmelo Anthony that defense attorneys wanted to exclude. Can you say more?
Yeah, don't leave that out. We gotta, hold on. We gotta make sure we get that black son of a, we gotta get him.
More about that?
Yes, so Bill Wertzke, the prosecutor in this case, in opening statement said that he also has information about the character of Karmelo Anthony and some of his background. And he also said that there was an incident on the day that this happened when Austin Metcalf was killed, where Karmelo Anthony's ex-girlfriend went to an assistant principal and said that he'd been stalking her and she was afraid of him and that he was spiraling. And she also said that he had an affinity towards guns, knives, and fights. And she was very concerned, and Bill Wertzke says he plans to present all of that when it's his turn.
Okay, so Rebecca, when you go through all of this, for anyone who paid attention to the trial, they know that none of this came out during the actual trial. Why is that?
So there was this gentleman's agreement that neither one of them was going to bring this up, that they were going to run a clean trial and they wouldn't bring up the character issues. But at the last minute, the defense attorneys are now saying that Bill Wertzke, the prosecutor, said that he was going to bring this up if Karmelo Anthony took the stand, and therefore they didn't present any of this evidence. They said they would have otherwise done so. And so now they are asking his new attorneys for a new trial, saying that there are some legal issues with what happened in the first trial, and they want a new trial. Jason.
Boy, you weren't kidding, Rebecca. There was a lot to unpack there from this day in the courtroom. Thanks so much for sitting in on all of that and walking us through it here. Really appreciate it. Stay tuned, of course, to WFAA as our coverage from the courthouse continues here. You can scan that QR code there on your screen to get up to speed on the whole case and to watch breaking developments as they come in as we continue to follow this.
Before we move to that, man, let's wow, that's something, ain't it, fam? I know when I first initially heard about this, I was taken back because I was like, I didn't know anything negative about Karmelo Anthony, But I could say I have my own theories about what's most important from this. We ain't going to overlook Karmelo Anthony's his text messages. But Bill, how can I say this? It seems to me that 53 pages, we said 53 pages, 55 pages of disciplinary shit might outweigh some text messages to your girl. Did he do something to his girl? Did he got some he had some police reports or something? He just do something? Or we talking about he just privately sent a text message? She was, okay. Yeah, we're gonna get to it, man. It's amazing how the media treats this. It's also dirty as hell. If they had an agreement not to bring this stuff in, and I get it, sometimes cases I've seen this happen where you can't bring in anything that happened. This ain't new. You can't bring in anything that didn't happen that day. Right? And I've seen that. And maybe in some other cases you didn't know. That's why you don't know anything about the certain backgrounds of the people that are in the trial or whatever. You might not know anything because they can get the judge to get that excluded. So I'm not unfamiliar with that tactic, but they threatened to reveal all of Karmelo's issues, and that left him unable to get on the stand, which would nullify basically, I think, the trial. I mean, if you tie someone's hands, arms behind their back and say they can't get up and defend themselves in a self-defense case and tell people why they defended themselves, that seemed a little crazy. Also, there's the element of not letting the trial be public, which is a violation of the Sixth Amendment. You're supposed to let the trial be public. We're supposed to be able to see what happened. We're supposed to have this be an open book to the public, and it wasn't. So I think just on those two grounds, without even judging what's being said about Austin and what's being said about Karmelo. But let's keep going, fam. I got a couple more clips. Let's break down a little bit further about Austin and about Karmelo Anthony.
This convicted killer Karmelo Anthony's retrial hearing continues today as the judge is considering a trove of evidence that the jury never saw, including disturbing text messages that were sent by Anthony. Todd Pyro joins us now with the latest. Todd?
Ainsley, good morning. The fate of Karmelo Anthony's retrial attempt remains undecided as his hearing for a new trial continues this morning. Prosecutors revealing disturbing new texts showing Anthony threatening to murder his girlfriend around the time Austin Metcalf was stabbed in the heart at a high school track meet. One text from Anthony reads, quote, "How many bullets you want coming out of your chest?" Anthony sending another saying, quote, "When I stab somebody, I'm gonna lick their blood off the blade." And this text sent 2 hours before Metcalf was murdered, reading, quote, "I'm low-key on the verge." After receiving these threatening texts, Anthony's ex-girlfriend allegedly told an assistant principal he was stalking her. Prosecutors adding Anthony had a history of getting into fights and an obsession with knives and guns. This information just now being revealed to the jury, or just now being revealed, I should say, was kept under wraps by both sides as a gentleman's agreement, promising to not use the text as evidence ahead of Anthony's original murder trial. The defense had agreed not to speak on victim Austin Metcalf's juvenile criminal history, which included graffiti and incidents of Metcalf bullying minority students, being violent, and using racial slurs. Anthony's team now claiming the agreement violated his constitutional rights and contributed to his decision not to testify. The court's going to hear more testimony today. Back over to you.
Okay, good deal. Thank you so much. Well, in just hours, the
Well, okay. Let me get this right. He has a history of getting into fights. I want to know more about this history. Is he around the way boy known to get into fights? Or you got something like, I don't know, you got some stuff from his school? Or you got some police reports? What you got? Did he had that he was fond of knives and guns? Had he used knives and guns on people? Because I know when my son was 13, he had this thing for swords. You know, that doesn't mean he never did anything to anybody with any swords, but he used to love swords. And I think he still does. And now he's grown, he's almost a grown man now, and he's never done anything with anybody with any swords, but he thought swords were cool. He always thought swords were cool. And kids were raised in certain environments or under certain conditions may have a fondness for guns. And that's just, they look at TV, they watch movies, they think, I love guns. And they just have a thing for them. It doesn't mean they've ever done anything with anybody to hurt anybody with a gun. It just means they like guns. They have a fondness for guns. It doesn't necessarily mean, so gotta be careful about how much weight you give what they're saying, because they're saying it for a reason. Now, I do find it troubling, and I ain't gonna talk around this. If you sent your girlfriend a text message, how many shots you want in your chest, bullets, that's a threat. Yeah, that's a threat, fam. You can't sugarcoat that. That's not good. Then, if you say something about licking the blood off of a knife after you stab someone, that's kind of hard to get past that. Like, then you stab someone. Even though it's not her, thank God. And I'm sure that's what her family's thinking. I'm pretty sure that's what she is thinking. What I'm saying is, we ain't got to sugarcoat that. That's not good. Nah, man, I'm not going to pretend that that's okay. You know, because it's incriminating as hell. I want to shoot up everybody. Then you shoot somebody. You go, that ain't why. I just did that because I was afraid. Explain. Yeah, he got a lot of explaining to do. He got a lot of explaining to do. So let's be clear, man, just so you know where I'm coming from. Up to this point, I said, I don't feel that Karmelo Anthony planned to kill Austin Metcalf. I thought that was overcharging. Now I need to hear Karmelo Anthony's testimony more than ever. More than ever. Because now we're setting up a situation where he's talking about doing something to somebody, unaliving someone, and then he unalives someone. We can't be honest people. I'm not an honest commentator if I don't acknowledge that's a problem. And you got to put any bias aside, because that could have been your child. Right? And your child could have been the victim. You wouldn't want anybody to put that aside for you. So yeah, we need Karmelo Anthony damn sure. I hope they grant him a new trial, if for no other reason than to hear his explanation to that shit. Because you got to answer for this. What else? Because, and also bear in mind, everything's not being released in the text messages. Do you think Karmelo just said these things in a vacuum and nothing else was said to him in a text message? You have no idea what she may have said in the text message. She may have said, I'm going to shoot up your house. He may have said, you don't know now, we don't know. She may have said, I'm going to get my brothers to shoot up your house. He may have said, you're going to be digging bullets out your ass. That would put a different spin on it, wouldn't it? But see, they don't have any obligation in this news report. The defense has the prosecutor has no obligation to give you full context that damages the state's case. So I know I'm going to have people that's going to take it and run with it. What I'm saying is, you don't know the context of what's being said. And you may say, there was no context where that was acceptable. Well, if someone threatens you, you may threaten them back. So we don't know. We don't know. So once again, we need more information to make an informed decision. That makes sense? Well, now since we dragged out Karmelo's situations, let's bring out some Austin Metcalf, because I remember fondly Jeff Metcalf, the father of Austin Metcalf, going on TV saying he didn't want to make this about race. And how dare we make this about race? Turns out he raised a couple of racists. Who didn't see that coming, Charleston White? You goofball. You're lame. You couldn't see that with the watermelon felon line? Check it out, fam. Let's get to it. Yeah, I know my comment section's on fire.
Texas has also learned new details about Austin Metcalf's background. Metcalf and his brother Hunter were once caught spray painting graffiti, including KKK Kill All Blacks and Heil Hitler, along with the N-word, and were sentenced to 12 months of juvenile probation. Records reveal they reportedly told authorities, "We did some dumb stuff. We did some vandalism." There are several documented instances of Austin using racial slurs in school, and in 2023, Austin was accused of bullying a black student in class. In 2018, while still in elementary school, Austin and his brother were accused of bullying and assaulting a female, which led to his arrest. During an argument in 2024 with another female student, Austin allegedly knocked her to the ground and punched her in the stomach. He was also kicked out of a football game and texted someone later, "I was about to beat the expletive out of those kids." At a previous track meet, when another student alerted Austin that someone not on their team, quote, "behind our bench was talking wild," Austin reportedly replied, "Kill that MF." During the 2023-2024 school year, he received in-school suspension twice. School disciplinary records from April 2022 to May 2024 reveal that Austin reportedly called a teacher the B word and used profanity. He told a school official that he couldn't control it and wasn't aware that it was coming out of his mouth. In 2024, on at least 5 occasions, Austin saw a counselor regarding his anger and rage during a football game. In 2021, he got banned from attending basketball games for a season after yelling profanity at a player. Metcalf also got suspended after he and another student were talking about bringing a gun to school the following day.
Next up, with
Okay. That provides a little bit of texture to it, don't it? Makes things seem a little bit more interesting on both sides of the coin, doesn't it? It is sad, fam, that if you're on X or one of these social media sites and your algorithm's only decorated one way, you might not even hear this. Yeah, like if you support Karmelo Anthony, you're probably going to only get one side of the equation. And if you support Austin Metcalf or Jeff Metcalf or anti-Karmelo Anthony, you're only going to get the other side of the equation. That's why, I pride myself in bringing you both so you can be pissed off at both sides. So let me get this right. We got a little bit of difference I see in the backgrounds of both of these young people. One is, it seems like the authorities were involved with Austin, with Karmelo not so much. Kind of strange. KKK, huh? Kill all the N-words, huh? Bullying black kids, beating up black kids, beating up women. See, I didn't hear them say that about Karmelo Anthony, and you know damn well if they had that type of background on Karmelo, they would have been using it. Yeah, they would have stated it. Yeah, we got records of him beating up his girlfriend. We got records of him beating up others and pulling knives and stabbing people. But what we have here with Austin is him doing things, not saying things in a text, doing things, fighting, bullying. Kind of puts things in perspective about what happened that day. There were a lot of people online, but I think we got to give them some love. We got maybe some apologies to some of our TikTokers who were saying how they heard that Austin was a bully and people kept saying this is bullshit, it's rumors. Turned out it was facts. Turned out he was a bully. In-school suspension, probation, Heil Hitler. Yeah, man. Jeff Metcalf is up here crying and blubbering on the film or on video, and I get it because he's a dad and he lost his son. And look, man, I get that, man. I truly understand and can relate to that. But fam, you don't get to all of a sudden wipe clean the background of your child. You know what kind of son you had this whole time. In fact, was he living with you when he was doing all the KKK, Hitler, Nazi shit? No wonder why you say you don't want to make this about race, because you're a racist. And you probably have something to do with them being racist themselves. Wow. Austin Metcalf and his dad make the Nolan Wells kids seem like Gary Owen. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in comparison. Jesus Christ. he literally told a doctor that he couldn't control himself. Anger and rage counseling. So do people still think do people still think there was nothing said under that tent? Does anybody besides me believe that the people were lying about or lying for Austin Metcalf and his family when they talked about what was said and what actually went down under that tent? I mean, it was so blurry, we really couldn't see it that well, but you really don't think Austin Metcalf made verbal threats to Karmelo Anthony? Yeah, now I know he said some stuff in text to his girlfriend, which is some punk shit, but I don't know. I got a feeling a kid with anger management issues who's prone to racist, living out racist, racist attitudes, racist beliefs, and actually doing violent and racism towards people, onto people, even girls. I got a feeling he had some choice words for Karmelo Anthony under that tent. But if you got a defense attorney and he's not going to bring this shit up no matter what to save your life, what kind of a defense lawyer is that, fam? That ain't a defense lawyer, man. That's somebody working with the other side. I mean, how could you not divulge that? This is the case. This is the case. This is a scary young man. He's bigger, he's threatening, and he's kicked people's ass. They ain't putting in this thing what Karmelo did to kick people's ass. This guy was beating people's ass. You don't think, look, know this. If they had evidence that Karmelo Anthony was beating people up and he had a history of kicking ass, not text messages, that would be in this list of things they're bringing out now. They would be talking about that. Huh. The only thing about it is, and it's a big thing, it's not a small thing. The only thing about it, only one person lost their life that day, and that was Austin Metcalf. And I've always been of the opinion that I was sorry that happened to that young man. I'm sorry for his trouble. But let's not forget, he did put his hands on Karmelo Anthony. It was not the other way around. So for all the shit people are saying, for all of the pearl clutching and the vindication, and I'm sure we got a couple of Karens on Twitter or X and Facebook, yeah, like that Sally Fields character, I'm sure they're not mentioning the fact that all this doesn't change the fact Karmelo Anthony hadn't put his hands on anybody that day. It was Austin Metcalf who initiated the contact. And we now know, more than likely, he wasn't just patting him on the back as a friend. More than likely, it wasn't the nicest conversation or interaction. And we got a lot of liars under that damn tent. Because you ain't got no cameras there, you got no adults there, and we got a guy with a history of violence. And he don't seem like he liked black people either. And you mean to tell me nobody under the tent's like, yeah, Austin, he was the aggressor, when it's obvious he was? At the end of the day, one person ran away. I stand on my square, fam. Of course I want to hear what Karmelo's explanation is. That's the difference to me, but still, that's the difference between murder, self-defense, and I know in Texas, there's really no manslaughter. That's the problem. But we need to know that. We need to know exactly what was going through the mind of Karmelo Anthony. But after hearing this about Austin, yeah, you may have in your mind, you may be like, yo, I got a knife and I'm going to kill somebody if somebody messes with me and all this and all that. And people can talk smack all the time. People talk smack. Did he talk smack about killing Austin Metcalf? And who initiated this physically? I come back to that, fam. I come back to that. Those are important points. Those are important points, and I think we can't overlook them. And no matter how surprised and taken aback we are, and I know, like I was in the beginning when I heard it, you saw me. I saved the most damaging parts to hear for a live reaction because I want this to be authentic. And it was troubling hearing him say, those things about his girlfriend or licking blood off a blade. It also sounds goofy, like some shit you said of a movie. Was he torturing animals or something? Is somebody buried under the stairs? I mean, it just sounds like a young kid talking dumb shit. Does not sound, because there's nothing to go with it. It's just words. Hell, it sounds like, for lack of a better term, it sounds like some Ghetto Boys 1989 lyrics. It don't sound real. So now you want us to believe Karmelo Anthony is a serial killer because he wrote some unsettling text messages? Meanwhile, we got Ed Norton from American History X doing Heil Hitler's and writing KKK and kill all the blacks. And that's not the word he's using, by the way. Yeah. Yeah, we got reasons to believe maybe Austin planning to do some curb stomping, romper stomper. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know, fam. I want the retrial to happen. I'm not going to back off my stance. I still believe if it wasn't for the aggressive nature of Austin Metcalf, he's probably still here. Now, if Austin Metcalf would have been running away, if he was running away like the young boy, what's the young boy's name? Who Mr. Child shot in the back. Carmack Belton. I don't know, fam. I mean, it's not missed on me, man. We are talking about someone losing their life. But I'm telling you, fam, there's a lot here to unpack. Get us a real trial. Get all the evidence out there. Also, don't forget to mention, Karmelo Anthony dove in the pool and saved some kid's life. That part's not in the text message, is it? Just might want to throw that in there if we are assassinating character based on text messages. Somebody got a rap sheet and somebody don't, is what I'm looking at. We got text messages on Karmelo, and we got a rap sheet a mile long, 54 pages of brutality and racism from Austin and aggressive activity. And we got Karmelo talking about it. And we got Austin doing it. But once again, Austin's dead. All right, fam. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section, man. I know we got a fire comment section on this one. I'm not going to buckle. I'm not going to buckle, fam. Yeah. That's a lot to overlook of Austin. You can't dismiss Karmelo's, because he sent those text messages. Those text messages went out that day and they involved a knife. If I'm taking the defense or I'm taking the prosecution at their word. And like I said, we don't know the context. But I'm not going to dismiss Austin Metcalf because I'd always believed he was the aggressor. And now we have evidence or we have proof, even though we don't have any eyewitnesses that will actually admit he was aggressive. I mean, they admitted it originally and then they all changed their stories. All of a sudden, it was Karmelo who was aggressive as he was sitting on the bench. It was weird. All right, fam. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section, fam. What are we doing? How we doing, y'all? I'm trying to tell y'all, fam, some people are quick to switch sides on stuff. I know I see some people online switching sides. I'm like, what's going on, fam? Now, you can't just listen to what someone says and then all of a sudden change your whole stance. Hopefully, you did not come to your conclusions flippantly just based off one thing you heard someone say. We don't switch our stance based on that because, like I say, it does not change what happened that day. That day, Austin was aggressive towards Karmelo and Karmelo acted. Did he do the right thing? I still don't think he did the right thing, fam. I don't. But I don't think it was murder. I've been consistent with that. Some people disagree with me, say, Tim, no, he defend. I understand. I still wish he would have did something different. I would want him to do something different, whether it was Karmelo Anthony or my son or anybody else's son. You understand what I'm saying? But murder is totally out. It's totally overkill, way too far. Let's keep tracking this one. Now, look, guys, my understanding, the judge may come back with a ruling on this thing tomorrow. So if they come back with a ruling tomorrow, I'm going to go live. I'm going to jump all over this. I'm going to talk about it live tomorrow if that happens. It's that important. Y'all good? Y'all good, fam? And didn't Austin, beat his dad's ass? I mean, people are leaving all types of stuff out about Austin. I heard that he beat his dad up. That's a lot more about Austin. He had some real anger issues, I believe. Was he on steroids? I heard, look, these are allegations. I heard that he beat his dad's ass. I heard that he was on steroids. I heard he had a drug problem. I heard all these things. And, of course, the internet's going to internet. And the racists are going to do racist, say racist things. They cannot accept, nor will they be honest at the fact that it was Karmelo that had a mom and dad living at home, in a home that's pretty well, And it was Austin with the ripped up childhood, with all the anger issues and all of the problems, and a dad that was estranged and drinking and all this craziness, who just found the Lord a couple of years ago. It was him. It was that family. But they don't want to accept that. They have to deny those realities. They raised a lot of money right now by the white lady that killed all her kids. And how many millions of dollars has she raised so far? Because she just has the complexion for the protection from the collection. Then she tried to off herself, and because she couldn't do it, they sent her money because they feel bad. Because she must really have a problem if she did that. Let a black woman kill her dog. Let a black woman kill her dogs. They're trying to send her to the electric chair. Y'all ready? All right. Lethal injection, electric chair, and shooter at the same time. Everything at once over them dogs. But a white woman can kill all her kids and raise $1 million. Y'all think I'm exaggerating. I may be exaggerating on the number because I don't know how much she raised. I'm just comparing it to Jericho, whatever that woman is, Shiloh Hendricks, whatever, Shiloh, who raised all that money for calling the Somali kid the N-word. Because the cancel culture. All right, guys, let's keep going. I got to get off the story because I can keep ad-libbing and talking and topping and talking and topping. We got to keep going. All right, y'all. You're watching the most dangerous show in America. Why? Because we are not afraid of the truth. Lies are easy. The truth is dangerous. Stay dangerous. All right? All right, fam. We ain't done.
Tim Black.
Give it up for my sister, Stephanie Mills. Yeah. I saw this posted on Stephanie Mills' Facebook page. I follow her on Facebook. Gary, Indiana hasn't had power in over a week. She posted this a few days ago. It's almost 10 days now. And the next estimates are that it won't be restored until the 25th. And then it will have been 2 weeks. Terrible storms. As of August 21st, thousands of residents of Gary, Indiana, in the broad and northwest Indiana, remain without power more than 10 days after storms that began on August 11th. and everybody's complaining.
I've been out of power since Tuesday of last week, and I'm still sitting in the dark. I got my grandmother with me, so we have to go out, get our phone charged, get food. We have to throw away the food, trees in the lawn.
Communities of color are left behind and always feel like they're the last to get turned on or the last to get rescued in these situations.
It's not okay for us to continually be in survival mode.
We need to have a light at the end of the tunnel.
It's been pretty rough.
Well, more than a week and a half after devastating storms swept through Indiana, killing at least 7 people, thousands are still without power. Utility crews working around the clock, but the thousands of lingering outages remain concentrated in the northwestern part of the state. And ground zero of the outages is centered in Michael Jackson's hometown of Gary, Indiana. Utility company NIPSCO says some 40,000 in the region could remain in the dark until sometime next week. News Nation correspondent Alex Capriello is live for us there in Gary. So, Alex, what is the situation there?
Yeah, Nicole, it's been 10 days since this storm hit Gary, Indiana, and scenes just like this one are playing out all across the city. You see these downed trees and the downed power lines that still need to be cleaned up. The result is tens of thousands of people that live here in this city still without power.
I mean, at all of the years of my life, I've never seen this much devastation, this much damage.
New numbers from the Northern Indiana Public Service Company, also known as NIPSCO, show around 43,000 customers are still without power. 16,000 of those are in Gary, including Gary Mayor Eddie Melton. Melton has repeatedly voiced his frustrations with NIPSCO, saying the utility company needs to do more to restore power to his city. His administration has now requested additional utility crews and linemen to help speed up recovery efforts.
Just imagine someone with medical conditions, individuals that haven't been able to talk to family members around the country, reaching out, wondering how they're doing. So this is frightening for a lot of folks.
And many Gary residents are taking their frustrations straight to social media, calling for more help and questioning why it's taking so long to restore power.
Like a horror movie out here.
Some are also alleging that Gary's racial demographics are playing a role in how quickly resources are reaching the community. Thousands of residents are now taking legal action against NIPSCO. A lawsuit filed against NIPSCO claims this damage and the power outages could have been prevented if the utility company had better managed the vegetation and trees that grows around the power lines.
They have to be accountable to the people they've harmed, physically, financially, whatever. They would like to blame it on an untoward weather event. Well, we know there's going to be weather events every year. At the end of the day, it's NIPSCO. And unless we hold them to account, they're not going to change.
Relief is also coming from the state. Governor Mike Braun requested an expedited disaster declaration from FEMA and brought in the National Guard to help communities recover. The emergency declaration will allow impacted Hoosiers to receive up to $5,000 in recovery assistance.
Many of us that believe in God and believe that our faith is what helps us endure these storms, I truly believe that this is going to make us stronger at the end.
We reached out to NIPSCO to see if they have any sort of comment about this lawsuit that was recently announced. We're still waiting to hear back.
All right, Alex Capriello live for us there in Gary. Thank you.
Yeah. Man, I don't mean no harm, man, but I get tired of people talking about the Lord in situations like this. Yeah. I understand you have your faith, but see, we're under man's rule in our country, and we got to demand that our officials do their damn jobs, Johnson. So we can have faith. You can have your beliefs. We need to hold people accountable when they're taking our money and collecting the salary and they aren't doing their damn job, their due diligence when it comes to doing their jobs. My understanding is Donald Trump approved a federal emergency declaration for Indiana on the 15th. Man, that's almost a week ago. We still got 35,000 people without power. They authorized FEMA to coordinate and provide direct federal assistance, equipment, resources for emergency protective measures, generally at 75% federal cost share. So let me get this right. The state can't handle business, and the feds are picking up 75% of the cost. And it's still not happening. Governor Mike Brown had already declared a statewide disaster emergency and mobilized the National Guard. FEMA support is active. In August 20th through 21, they submitted a request to Trump and FEMA for a full major disaster declaration. See, this is the problem, fam, and this is what people need to understand about this. If this thing would have got national coverage, you would have jumped to that point last week. It should have jumped to a full response, a full, no holds barred measure response from the federal government should have took place last week. No dragging your heels. And the only reason why it didn't happen is because we did not get a national coverage of what happened. That's it. The federal government, just like all bureaucracies, will drag their feet as long as they can. But once something becomes bad, once something becomes bad publicity, once it becomes bad for them, that's when people get to moving. They don't get to moving before that. So yeah, the lack of urgency for national media directly correlates and shapes the speed and scale of the remediation efforts in Gary, Indiana. That's the problem.
News Nation exclusive report. It's on a story we've been covering for over 3 years now. After the 2023 train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, and the burning of 5 tank cars full of vinyl chloride, residents were sick almost immediately. Rashes, nosebleeds, respiratory issues. The renowned toxicologist.
Some people may remember this story. I covered this one back in 2023 when it took place. Palestine, Ohio, working class rural area. On the edge of Pennsylvania and Ohio, we have white folks, working class and lower class and poor white folks, who basically were left to die. Federal response was slow there too, but the difference was when they started bringing in the national coverage, at least they pretended like they were trying to get things done. But it wasn't until the national coverage of the event did people really get to moving. I know I got people, look, here's the deal, fam. I know I have people watching this say, okay, they did this to Gary, Indiana because those are black people. And I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm not going to say that that's not a factor. I believe it's always a factor. You're watching a channel that believes that color matters and that things are done. That's an influence on whatever decisions that are made. It matters. But I want to also remind everybody, because I've been doing this a long time, I've seen the federal government drag their feet with white people too. The only people they don't drag their feet with are people with money. That's it. They will drag their feet with white folks. They did it. Here's my proof. Them people still ain't right, and it's been since 2023. And I still remember Katrina. Shit, man, this part of Katrina, this still ain't right. Fam. So yeah, color matters, race matters. In America, and federal response is slow. I want you to see, this is not just about Palestine, Ohio. Palestine, Ohio. It's pronounced the same way. It's not just about them. It's about our responses to disasters, to these type of events. I just think America just don't give a shit. Less is rich people that can hurt your funding. If they can keep it out the news, I mean, come on. Look at this. Now, I was going to cover this. Well, I was going to reference this just to give people more context of how America treats people that don't have money in this country. And I want to include the class issue, the class element. Little did I know I was going to have an update that was just done 2 days ago. Fam, this story took the actual devastation. The accident took place almost 3 years ago, over 3 years ago. Fam, they're still reporting on this shit because they still ain't got these people straight. This report is from 24 hours ago.
News Nation exclusive report. It's on a story we've been covering for over 3 years now. After the 2023 train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, and the burning of 5 tank cars full of vinyl chloride, residents were sick almost immediately. Rashes, nosebleeds, respiratory issues. The renowned toxicologist Stephen Petty was hired to come in and test the resident's soil for toxins and to analyze all of the other testing being conducted on behalf of the class action attorneys. His test results and his analysis, the most comprehensive data set to date, have never been released to the public. Now, our investigative correspondent Rich McHugh obtained those results and spoke exclusively with Petty about the findings. Rich joins us once again. He's back in East Palestine where he spent so much time. As I said before the last break, Rich, this sounds like a big, big development.
Yeah, it's a big deal, Connell. You know, we've been reporting on this for 3.5 years. I've been here, I think, over 30 times at this point, and I gotta say, this story, I believe, is the most important story we will tell to date. Stephen,
you hear what this guy said? He said he had been there 30 times. How many times reporters been to Gary, Indiana to report the blackout? 30 times. I don't even think they've been down to check on Katrina 30 times. The mechanics of the media to remediation pipeline, fam. What they have in Palestine is a hyper-visible national crisis. What they have in Gary, Indiana, is they have an invisible infrastructure collapse. In Palestine, they had a train that derailed that was carrying chemicals. Then they burnt up the trains, and the chemicals went even further around. So basically, they gave these people cancer by trying to remediate it, and did it clumsily, and they just burnt the chemicals up because they didn't know what else to do. So they spread the problem, and it went further into the soil, into the water, and everywhere else. Gary, Indiana is just neglect, fam. Gary, Indiana, the storms came, but it's not like you didn't know you were going to have storms. It's the horrible infrastructure in Gary, Indiana. I've been to Gary, Indiana, and it looked like to me like an industrial town that was stuck in the 70s. When I went to Ohio, Mrs. Black, I did a conference, and if I remember correctly, we stopped by. We went by the original Jackson House in Gary, Indiana. We drove by there. We stayed there. We took video. We did the whole thing. And I drove around Gary, and I was like, this looks bad. Now it was the middle of the day, so maybe that's why it looks like I don't know, like someone's basement, like an unfinished basement. But if your whole town looks like an unfinished basement, that's a problem. Turns out, the National Cable Desk often write off prolonged power outages as regional severe weather. Ignoring Gary's breakdown is rooted in structural neglect. So the benign neglect of Indiana, this is probably why they don't want to talk about it. It's not just a storm, fam. It's that you have him in such a dilapidated condition. They say it's bad luck to open an umbrella in your house. Isn't that right, DL? It's also bad luck to have a hole in your roof. And for lack of a better term, Gary, Indiana has a hole in its roof. I just want Americans, I want all my black audience, all my working class audience to see just how bad America is at people without money in general. It ain't the same, but if this is how they do them, think how they do us.
Petty's testing data paints an alarming picture of the reality here in East Palestine, and none of it has seen the light of day until today. Petty has testified as an expert witness in over 400 different cases. He was hired by class action attorneys as their testing expert when they negotiated a $600 million settlement with Norfolk Southern. They did not release Petty's results, even to their own clients, but what he found was alarming.
In East Palestine?
Yes.
No doubt about it.
No doubt about it.
Very high level?
Above screening levels, which means you can't walk away from it.
So fair for residents to be concerned?
Of course.
Little thing.
Petty says his testing data and the others he analyzed detected dioxins and PAHs, some of the most carcinogenic compounds on the planet, in extremely elevated levels, above cancer screening levels set by the EPA here.
Somewhere between 50 and 70% of the data points, whether they be for dioxins or for PAHs exceeded screening levels.
Cancer screening levels?
Cancer screening levels. You have to do something. You have to do further analysis to see what needs to be done from a remediation standpoint, and you also have to do further analysis to determine what it means for people in that environment. We can't just walk away from those results. There is a problem there.
And it's not just Petty. Independent testing expert Scott Smith also came here to test on his own and found dioxins and similar results. Petty says their results line up almost exactly, Connell.
Wow. What are the residents telling you, Rich?
The residents are telling you that they're screwed and they can't get the reaction. Here's the thing, fam. And this is them after a $600 million ruling. But if you're not here to spend it, who cares? I guess it can go to your families. Now I want to also put this in context of what's happening in Alabama with the dirty water, with the cancer levels. They got Cancer Alley. Fam, it's like this all over the country in different pockets. We all know that the treatment that people without money get, generally speaking, is never going to be as well as if it was in the backyard of Martha's Vineyard. But the way they do Black Americans is at a whole nother level. Fam, most of the country has no idea that Gary, Indiana's been without electricity. Remember, people, almost damn near 10 days. And once again, I'm not trying to say it's the same thing, but what I'm saying is I've seen this before. I see it time and time again. I think we're going to always continue to see it because of what? The PR shield. These cities are run like corporations. They have their crisis management, their PR management, and they shield what gets reported and what gets out. So a situation like this, just like when it comes to Black Americans been found hanging from trees, this is when you need celebrities. I'm always reminded how Black culture has a lot to do with our performers, our entertainers, our athletes, our fashion. All these things that make us fly, that the entire country uses. Hell, that the entire world takes from Black Americans. We are the predominant cultural movers of the globe, and they love using us for that. But when it comes to us getting fair treatment, we need those same movers and shakers to go to Gary, Indiana, to go to Cancer Alley in Alabama. We need them to go make noise. That's what your notoriety should be for. Not to go to the Invest Fest and help Rashad and his boy make money, get more investors, to get a picture with Steve Harvey. Nah, but to go here. And on top of that, where's Congressional Black Caucus? Where is the Congressional Black Caucus? Where is the NAACP? I don't need to see a goddamn press release. I could write a press release. Hell, I got Claude. We can use AI to write a press release. We don't want a press release. We want you and all of those relics in the Congressional Black Caucus to be in Gary, Indiana, to be in Alabama, to be in Flint. Okay, I want you to answer something for me. Be clear with me. Understand where I'm coming from. When I tell you that that I am independent, that I don't support either one of these parties, you see why? Do you think the powers that be give a shit about the people in Gary, Indiana? Do you think they give a shit that those may be Democrats or those may be Republicans? I don't think they care, Johnson. I think we get caught up on name tags. It's just a way to keep us bickering about bullshit, but at the end of the day, it's all about paper. And it's all about who has power. And if you ain't important to them, you ain't important to them. They want to give you the facade that it matters. But they're not sending down help for Gary, Indiana any faster than they're sending it to Palestine, Ohio, which after almost 4 years, they can't clean that shit up. And fam, we all know the story of Flint, Michigan. That was a dime. And fam, they replaced some of the pipes. People still hurting in Flint. It still ain't, it'll never be what it should have been. Because if you let something go so far in the infrastructure, some things just can't be cleaned up. They basically need to drain Flint and start over. And I can't help believe it's not done for a reason. Yeah, I can't help believe it's not done for a reason. Even the East Palestine Railroad accident was weird because it was at the same time that Biden was denying the railroad workers to get a unionized day off. And that same weekend, the train crashes, carrying chemicals. I know some people say it was a coincidence. I just don't believe in coincidences. Too much money's on the line, too much power's on the line for it to be a coincidence in my book. Yeah, but if you got stars, if you want to make the argument that we got stars and celebrities, and that's the culture, Tim, you need to be in touch with the culture. You don't watch enough sports, Tim. I'm busy. I'm busy doing the job that Congressional Black Caucus should be doing. Trying to be a watchdog, trying to be an advocate for people that don't have an advocate or a watchdog. All right. Okay, they're estimating that they will have, SIPCO is estimating that the restoral of power in Gary, Indiana should be spread or should be done by August 25th. I'm wondering what the count is on the casualties due to the excruciating high temperatures and the lack of electricity. It's crazy, fam. All right, fam. Let me know what y'all think in the comments section. Any all new everything, Elizabeth. Next, another story I could stay on all day. I think you get it. They don't care about anyone.
Important reporting to date. Rich McHugh live in East Palestine, Ohio for us.
Full of shit. Next up with Tim Black.
I frankly stopped doing as many TV interviews because I don't want to talk about the race, to be perfectly honest. And the reasons that I don't is because right now people just need to focus on whatever it's going to take to win. But there is a reckoning that this party needs to have. Mm-hmm. There isn't, the racism was very clear.
The Democratic Party needs to
find its backbone.
Why you say that?
Right now, I mean, you can just talk to any regular person walking down the street, and they feel as if there's not enough fight within the party, and I would agree.
Yeah.
Republicans, they don't care if they got to break the law to get it done. They're going to get it done.
Yeah.
And I'm not advocating for people to break the law, obviously. But it shows you the lengths that they will go to. They also decided that they would elect a 34-count convicted felon because they stand by their man. And the Democrats, because they may have disagreed on one or two or however many issues, could not stand by their woman who would have made lives better, not only for MAGA, who is complaining about gas prices, who may be concerned because their loved ones too may end up in this unconstitutional war, or because you got doged and you ain't got no job. There's a lot of things that you may have looked and discussed every day, knowing that a woman was the one who was the quote-unquote man for the job, but you would have been in a better situation.
Yeah. Everybody, America would have been in a better situation.
World.
Yeah.
Because the world is suffering
Yeah.
because of the inaction of some and just the ignorant, hateful actions of others.
Yeah.
Some things I will not miss about Jasmine Crockett being gone. The simplicity of boiling everything down to it was a black woman, so of course they didn't want to elect her. I mean, I was on his channel saying, you want to spend all your coins at the party? You want to go into the, I look at it like pinball machines, like the arcade. Back in the day, we used to have arcade. You used to go to the arcade, and there were games you could play. Put your coins in and play all day. Okay. And there's certain games you could play, you know, they were fun. They were amazing. I remember there was a Star Wars game. It simulated this, you know, the whatever the thing, I don't know, one of the aircraft that was used was they ran through the rainforest. I think Empire Strikes Back or whatever. Not Empire Strikes Back. Return of the Jedi. The white guys, the guys in the white suits used to be on the biker helmets, and they're riding these little things. They're going through the, you know what I'm saying, through the wooded area, and they got the Chewbacca's or whatever, the little guys. I forget the name. So there are people that know what I'm talking about. I'm not crazy. It was a wild game, right? So anyway, it was a great game. It had great special effects, right? And at that time, it was like the late 90s or whatever. There was not, that was like cutting edge, okay? It was like cutting edge. But the thing was, it cost a lot of money. Now, if you had a coin, you could play Pac-Man all day. You could play Asteroids all day. You could play something with less graphics, and you'd be there all day. You could play Donkey Kong for 3 days. Just bring me a slice of pizza and a cup I can use if I need to. And see, that's the way I see Jasmine Crockett's career. I said on this channel many times, yeah, you're making a lot of noise and everybody can see you, and there's a lot of sights and sounds, and you're doing all this as you drag Donald Trump. And America's loving the fact that you are being abrasive and crass, and you right up front, and boy, you are really doing something. You are really standing out. And I kept saying, it ain't gonna last. And yes, white people were cheering for you. Everybody was cheering, she's so great. I love her backbone. I love her. She's so outspoken. And all I kept saying was, look at them cheering her on. They're going to drop her. They're not going to put her in a leadership position. Because you were an attack dog. Attack dogs don't get to be the leaders. You get to be used as an attack dog. But then when it's time for the thinking people to put somebody in front, they're going to say, you too abrasive. You too crazy. You're an enforcer. Enforcers enforce, and then they get capped. It's like Weebay on The Wire. It's like Bodie. It's like Bodie on The Wire. That's what happens. It's like, you know, maybe you could be lucky and be like Slim. You know what I'm saying? Like Slim was in it for a long time. He outlasted them all, but he was quiet. So what I'm saying is, Jasmine Crockett fails to embrace reality. She chose the path of rowdiness, loud, nitty. She was abrasive and loud and in everybody's face, and her star rose quick, and she lit up the place. But at the end of the day, that's not the guy or the gal that they choose to run it. That's something that somebody should have told you. Roland should have told you, as he was boosting your videos every other day, cheering on your attack dog shit. He should have told you firsthand that when the time comes, they're going to pull your parachute. Just like they did to him. That's what happens. But this woman is still believing, she's still living in denial. Now she's wondering why they're quieter, more amicable, white Tallarico beat her? Is this racism? That's all it was? Now you saw a translation. You saw it was a translation between being notarized, being notable, being famous, to being considered leadership material. And I'm not even going to disagree with you about the racial element. I agree the Democrats are racist. In fact, we had that conversation on Beyond the Talking Points. When my brother, Dr. Musa Abdullah, he clearly stated, and I agree with him, that the Democratic Party is the more racist party. They use race more often than the other party. In my opinion, that's what they do. Okay? And I've seen it up close and personal, and I believe that. How did you not know that going in? I don't know. But then she goes a step further, and she makes it about Kamala Harris. And she's still on that Kamala was the best person for the job shit. You know who the best person for the job is? The person who won. It's politics. It ain't show friends. At the end of the day, the Democrats were the incumbent, and America wasn't happy with the direction of the country. And Trump's a good liar, which is what most politicians got to be to win. And he told better stories. He painted a better scenario and a better story than Kamala. And yeah, of course, she only had 107 days. And I'm tired of having this conversation because you feel scorned, because it didn't work out for you. There's a lot of reasons why people didn't feel that Kamala Harris was a winner. Most of them have to do with her performance. At the end of the day, the Democrats had the White House and they could not hold it. You can say whatever you want to say, but I notice you do not have criticism about them not holding the White House. Remember, they lost the White House. They had the White House. It's easier to keep it than it is to get it. She had more money. She had more endorsements, which she did not have. It's a more vivid plan. I remember up until like the last 2 weeks of her campaign, she trots out this thing. Oh, I got some ideas for black people. Turns out it was the same plan she had for white people. She just put black on top of it. And what? People not excited about it? Now, we had Trump. Trump was coming in. He was talking about big changes, and people brought it. And they only had like 3 choices. It was Dr. Cornel West, Kamala Harris, or Trump. And they chose Trump. I'm not upset with I'm not upset that Joy. I'm not upset that Jasmine Crockett is upset and blames her party for not fighting hard enough. My problem with her is she's not talking about fighting for the right shit. She ain't say nothing in there about policy. She still ain't learned shit, Johnson. She's not talking about policy. She's talking about feelings. She's talking about who deserves. If you ain't doing nothing better for my life or my family, don't tell me it would have been better. Tell me how it would have been better. Tell me when the best time to say that? During the campaign. During the campaign Trump's plans, very vivid. Close the border, lower inflation, go out to China. Dumb shit, some of it, but hey, I know what it is. What was Kamala? Oprah. Al Sharpton. Something about greens in a bathtub. That horrible VP choice. Why don't you bring that shit up? He sucked. Yeah, I'm not saying J.D. Vance is Mr. Personality, but Tim Walz is like a guy you don't want to leave your kids around. You know? That's how he seems to me. Anyway. Jasmine Crockett's going to be out of office in January. And she's saying she's going to go scorched earth on the Democratic Party. And I know people are upset. They made it very clear. They don't like the fact that Stephen A. Smith said words about Jasmine Crockett, most of them true, about her brashness and her tone and how it was way over the top. And some people are saying that they're only upset about it because they didn't like the manner in which she criticized Crockett. Man, yeah, I got a lot of issues with her too. Not more issues than I have for the Democratic Party, though. So we'll see what happens, man. She ain't going to go away quietly. She's just going to keep complaining and complaining. She can't accept reality. Yes, you're a woman. You knew that going in. You knew you were a black woman going in. You knew that. Everyone knew that. So you say the Democrats are racist. Why? Like you just figured that shit out. How could you run in politics and not know that you have racist Democrats? I'm not even going to deny that there are racist Democrats. I agree with you. I agree 100%. There are racist Democrats and there are racist Republicans. Now what you gonna do? You still spent most of your credibility shitting and chasing Trump around. Fam, your opening commercial when you should have been talking about policy was a Barbizon photo spread making faces at the camera with a voiceover of Trump playing. Then you did a shitty rap video on a bench. Then you didn't have a real campaign staff. You just thought you could use clips of your Kimmel and your Fallon appearances or some shit. Or maybe the clip of you dancing at the Capitol to Kendrick Lamar. Meanwhile, Tallarico was doing town halls every day. See, you don't want to have that conversation. You don't. You don't want to have a real conversation. You don't want to really address shit. And no one's going to address it because everybody want to protect black women. So no one gets to tell you the real shit. No one gets to tell you the truth. Monique can't tell you. Felicia Rashad can't tell you. Nobody can tell you. Then life shows you and you still deny it. I'm waiting for her to show up in a bonnet. That's next. Y'all know that, right? And then y'all be mad at me calling that shit out. I'm not saying Tallarico's better. I'm not saying that. Okay? What I'm saying is, I don't see how she was better. That's all. I just don't see it. Y'all keep talking to me about credentials. Man, politics is a popularity contest. We know that. It's never about who has the most experience. I mean, you can try to say that. Hell, if that's the case, Trump beat Hillary too. And she had more experience than Trump. But it ain't about that. And here goes one, and I'm going to leave it alone because I'm tired of the bullshit. Obama beat Hillary after being First Lady, Secretary of State, and a senator. And she still lost to Obama. What say you? What say you? Lawyer, highly educated. What say you? Was it racism or sexism or what was it? Guy was a freshman. I'm just saying, fam. It's like, it's ridiculous. But see, if you say these things that are true, people call you sexist, racist. They say you hate your mother. What you say? What, Dr. Musa, what you say? That we don't love ourselves. Who hurt you? For telling the truth. You don't want the truth. Gotta lie to make people feel better. It's like stuck on stupid. And if you tell the truth, they run you out of town. Anyway, that's it, man. I could go on and on about this shit because I lived it. I've been living this for the better part over a decade. And I'm telling you, man, I've seen it happen time and time again. I've seen good people not win office, but I'm not totally convinced about Jasmine Crockett. She played the game the way she played it. Most popular politician for almost 2 years. But bright things burn out. The brighter you burn, the quicker you burn out. And she burnt out. And people did not see her as a statesperson. They saw her as a sideshow. They saw her as a drama, a crescendo. They saw her, they did not see her the way that they needed to see her for leadership. Stop equating her to every other black woman in the world. She is herself. She is uniquely Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett is not all black women. She is herself. Baby, baby, baby. What is that? You don't think some people go, what? Or do you want to believe that all black people are a monolith? And remember, she didn't just need black votes. She needed Hispanic votes, Latino votes. She needed white votes and Asian votes. What about all those other people? You think everybody wanted to hear that shit? I mean, are we being honest? Are we being honest? You think really everybody, baby, bump Trump, F you, Trump, and kiss my ass. You really think everybody thought that was cool? Really? What about when she said, we done picking cotton? We need them Hispanics to pick cotton. You don't think that had anything to do with some Latinos choosing Tallarico? Do you think that is, do we consider any reality here? They'll tell me you're sounding like Stephen A. Smith. Nah, Stephen A., I don't have a problem with LeBron. In fact, I like his school. But I got a problem with his denial. And since you want to keep talking about this shit and keep talking about it, all that people keep saying, Kamala Harris is she's so credible. She's got all this gravitas and all this abilities. Fam, most of the accomplishments that Kamala Harris has had in the last 10 years were given to her. People wrote that script that she said when she roasted Kavanaugh, when she roasted Sessions in Congress. Her staff wrote that shit down, she read it. It looked like she had somebody in her ear when she debated Trump. That's what it looked like to me, because whenever she was interviewed, she was never so eloquent and so on fire. Where was all of that when she was interviewing? That was a good debate performance. Where was that when she was asked questions like on The View? Where was that? Punchy one-liners, where were those? And where was that shit on The View about not changing anything? These are dumb points, fam, that she dropped the ball on a number of occasions. And I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that Trump did a great job. He obviously lost that first debate. But if we got to keep going back over history and we live in all of it, all because of what? We're at a whole different point now. And now Jasmine Crockett gets to go back and play you the greatest tunes. Who does that benefit? Nah, man, I say go forward. If you don't have no policies that benefit us, we don't give a shit anyway. Hey, Jasmine Crockett, until you have policies that benefit Black America, no one gives a shit. And when I was asking, why weren't you talking about policies specifically for Black Americans? You were busy defending the Democratic Party. You were saying dumb shit like, we're trying to clean up the water for Black people. As if white people don't want clean water. I covered this extensively on my channel. You said some dumb shit too. Defending the Democrats. And not saying it up for Black Americans. You were too busy worried about trans athletes and shit like that. You're trans kids. 1% of the population. Yeah. That was you. That was your focus. So anyway, there it is. Okay, guys. I think I got one more clip. I don't want to be here all night. I know it's Friday. I know I'm gone on too long. My bad. I had to get some of that out. I'm about to trim the shit out of that if I put this out as a video. But I'm just tired of people rewriting history. Rewriting history. Kamala Harris had $2 billion. Do you realize how much money that is? I'm sorry, fam. When you got that type of money, she was better off sending everybody $1,000 to vote for her. That's how much money she spent. And since she gave Oprah $500,000. All right, guys. Maybe she should have just gave Marcus Farrell $100,000 to have him create an AI video for her. I think that might have helped her more. I'm talking about Jasmine Crockett and Kamala Harris. You see, Mark? Hey, Marcus, who got your back? Who got your back, son? All right. This show is brought to you by Beyond the Talking Points. That's my show every second Thursday of every month with my good friend Dr. Musa Abdullah, where we break down what's going on currently in the news cycle and we give it to you without the talking points. Go find him at All Things Education Official on YouTube and the FBA Educator on TikTok. All right. Let's try to close the doors, fam.
Next up with Tim Black.
Let's do a little history walk, shall we? So first, when Barack Obama got elected in 2008, we thought a black man was going into the office and he was going to make sure that black people were taken care of. And in his first term, he was not able to do that. We understand. Of course, the second term, like Trump, you have no balls to the walls, right? You don't have to worry about re-election. You can do whatever you want. And he still chose not to do anything for us. And so at that point, we're like, we need to question this overall black alliance.
I love how the sister breaks it down because a lot of people need this primer. They need to understand that the delineation movement is nothing more than an awakening of black Americans who realize we tired of getting screwed over and getting lied to. That's it. That is all. This sister is going to explain why it's come down to. It's not a PSYOP, dumbass. It's not a COINTELPRO. It's not a maneuver of the U.S. government to try to make us not stick together. It's black Americans realizing ain't nobody sticking with us. It's a realization. Please, sister, continue.
Of course, the second term, like Trump, you have no balls to the walls, right? You don't have to worry about re-election. You can do whatever you want. And he still chose not to do anything for us. And so at that point, we're like, we need to question this overall black alliance. It might not be as aligned as we think it should be. So now that we've started to see that not all skin folk are kinfolk, and that some people really have their own agenda, right? And their agenda doesn't include helping foundational black Americans. And we have to respect that because they've been telling us for a long time they're not black. They've been telling us for a long time we are not the same. They've been telling us and telling us and telling us. And now we're finally hearing it because we saw what that looks like. We saw that they can be in the highest position of power and do absolutely nothing for foundational black Americans. So we said, you know what? Pulling support. We're done with that. We're not going to keep trying to push that narrative. They don't want it, so we're not going to push it anymore. We're just going to take care of ourselves. We're going to mind our own business. We're going to take care of our communities. We're going to get our families back intact. You guys keep saying that we have such a terrible culture, then we're going to go ahead and fix that. So we don't have time. We don't have energy to focus on anybody else. We're only going to focus on us. And all of a sudden, they started realizing, oh, I live in America. And the things that the foundational black Americans were telling me would actually be helpful in this time when there is a Republican in office and they don't really care about you. You need somebody to advocate for you. So now that we've sat down and said we're not advocating for you anymore, the fear is starting to come. You take the whole situation where they're removing statuses. Normally we would say, oh, you can't do that to people. You need to do this. You need to do that. We would stand up. We would fight. Now we're like, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. And you can feel that. They can feel that. They really can feel that. Then we just sat down and said, yeah, that's unfortunate. I guess you should have got your paperwork together, right? Yeah, I guess so. And I think that's where the fear is coming from. What happens if there's a sustained perspective that we should only focus on ourselves? What happens to everybody else when we do that? Now, we know that we'll fix our communities and we'll go back to helping the world, but everybody else sees, like right now, whoa, what's happening? What are they doing? And that's causing a lot of fear. And so people that you're used to just talking crazy to and they never say anything back, now we're saying something back. And yeah, I get it because foundational black Americans, we're spicy. We're very spicy on the comebacks. There's literally no chill. There's absolutely no chill. Yeah, scorched earth a little bit on some people's channels, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, you're getting a whole wide variety of responses to the disrespect and for the drawing of the boundaries and saying we're not gonna do that anymore. And the more people push and the more people are like, no, you need to, just the more dug in, we're like, oh yeah, this is absolutely right. So I think that's where the fear is coming from, but maybe, I'm not right. I'm not always right. I think I'm always right, but I'm not always right. So I'd love to hear your comments. What do you guys think? Is it fear? I don't think it's jealousy because they cosplay us anyway, but what do you guys think? Leave it in the comments. Be nice. Y'all, like, seriously, y'all are like, I love us though. I'm not gonna lie, I love us. but we do too much. Yeah. Kind of like that guy at the brawl when he hit that lady with the chair, and we're like, you're going to jail. We're going to bail you out, but you're definitely going to jail. Yeah, chill in the comments. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Man, that sister really nailed it. And I just want to say, it reminds me of an Eminem song. Nowadays, everybody act like they got something to say. But Democrats act like they forgot about Dre. Nothing but a bunch of gibberish when they move their lips. And Democrats act like they forgot about Obama. They forget about Obama, man. They do not remember Obama, Johnson. Nothing comes out when they move their lips, just a bunch of gibberish. And Democrats act like they forgot about Obama. Yeah, baby. See, all right, Melba, you should have invited me on, baby. Skills. Everybody don't talk so like Willie D. So anyway, the point is this, fam. Obama created this. A lot of this goes back to Obama. And people like to say, oh, blacklash. White Americans mad because, we elected a black president. Well, first of all, he's the first biracial president. And second of all, you got a point. And I also have a point. The black Americans also mad they were elected a biracial president who got in office and didn't do anything specifically for black Americans. And can you imagine the hope of black Americans for so many years has been to see somebody get into that office and make some changes that stick for black Americans after as much shit as we've been through in this country. And we finally get that opportunity. And what happens? We got a bunch of respectability Negroes telling us that we should not ask for anything. And then when the second term comes and he's on his way out the door, no matter what he does, he's on his way out the door. He cannot be reelected. And what does he do? Nothing. Nothing specifically for the people that have been waiting for this for 300 years. And we didn't forget about it. We did not forget about it. We did not forget about his African dad. We did not forget about his white mama. We did not forget about his white parents who raised him, his grandparents. We did not forget about the elitism. We did not forget about him calling us Pookie and telling us to pull our pants up and put on soft shoes and to get to work. We did not forget about any of it. We did not forget about the Do Nothing Congressional Black Caucus, who put up a fight for about 2 seconds and then they decided they wanted access more than they wanted results. Nothing comes out when you move with the lips, just a bunch of gibberish, and Democrats act like they forgot about Obama. And they thought there would be no price to pay, and this is the price to pay. So when they're blaming, when people like Joy Reid are blaming and saying it's the bots and it's the Russians, that's niggas with memories. That's all that is. We remember. Do you remember in Timber? You're chasing the times, the times away. Yeah, and the needle singing. Yeah, we was watching as he did the bills for LGBTQ. Yeah, Don't you remember? Into September, and what happened is Black America remembers all too well what happened, fam. We got the shaft. So that's part of what happened with the delineation. That's why this is a delineation movement. It's not xenophobia, at least not for me. I can't speak for everybody. Yeah, it's going to get toasty and roasty in those comment sections, as my sister pointed out. But that's not what caused it. What caused it was benign neglect. Dr. Clyde Anderson put it out there. He was right. He was diagnosing a problem, a condition, based on inside information that he saw being put into the legislation or lack thereof legislation. And so you get what you pay for. Our response, and once they get a response that they do not appreciate from us, they want to tie to some nefarious, underhanded conspiracy to disinformation towards. No, we ain't been disinformed. No other community's been disinformed. We saw what we got for our money. It was nothing. We were let down. We were disappointed. And we acted, we responded in kind. And that's going to continue. And it's only going to get worse, or it's only going to increase because we're paying attention. In my next clip, to close it out, I got this brother here. And he articulates exactly the essence of how Black Americans or foundational Black Americans see themselves and what that means. Okay? And this is not a robot or a bot from a Tariq Nasheed or from any other entity. This is just Black people seeing themselves as what they are. Black Americans. A unique people.
I definitely don't consider myself African American. I would just consider myself American. And I haven't personally been to Africa, but my little brother has been to Africa, my mom's been to Africa, and they don't consider us African either.
Like a foundational Black American?
Yeah, I would say so.
Where do foundational Black Americans trace their roots from?
We don't trace our roots. For us, we look at ourselves as a new established thing. So it's the original almost. This is the beginning of a new thing.
We don't civilization.
Yes, a new culture, a new type of people. There's nothing to trace it back to because it's new.
Okay, guys, let me know in the chat. Are foundational Black Americans the beginning of a new civilization? I've been having a lot of interaction with Black Americans, and sometimes we have some, conversations about Black Americans and foundational Black Americans.
Yeah.
Tracing their roots from Africa. Some consider themselves as African Americans. Others don't also consider themselves as African Americans. What is your take on that?
I definitely don't consider myself African American. I would just consider myself American.
Okay.
And I haven't personally been to Africa, but my little brother has been to Africa, my mom's been to Africa, and they don't consider us African either. So there's obviously a divide.
Okay.
So we're obviously not the same in some way or shape or form. So we don't even consider ourselves anything other than American.
Black American fam. So foundational Black Americans. I just love the way you put that there because it pretty much expresses for me how I feel. I feel that we are Black Americans have been in this country. Some of us were already in this country when the colonizers came to this country, right? We were already on this body of land. We were indigenous to this land. Others that came here that were brought to this country, that started a new clock, so to speak. That became a new people we became Black Americans. Once we got our freedom, we became Black Americans. We were freedmen, and then we became Black Americans. And now we're adding foundational only because we are the foundation of America. And we are the foundation. And so it's not a rejection of anything else. It's just that we have been here this long. This is the country that we claim. And we were here, some of us were here before the country was a country. So there you have it. We built this, no one can question if we built this country. We aided in building this country. Most of us without getting compensated and against our will. And now you don't want us to have any ownership of it. You don't want us to have any, I don't get why you would want that to happen. I don't know, other than maybe you find some agency within us being connected to you. But there is no agency. We benefit not by being connected to you. We're connected to ourselves. And when you consider us, particularly that Black Americans have been in this country or have been a part of America pre-Ghana, pre-Nigeria, I mean, those countries weren't even defined until the 60s and the 70s. And you get to ask us, you get to question us about why we consider ourselves to be Black Americans, foundational Black Americans. Man, get out of here, man. I mean, we talking about the 1619 Project. You know what I'm saying? Really, Johnson? 1619 Project, and we got people that are from a country that wasn't a country until 1967 or whatever, or 76, whatever it was for Nigerians, and you question us about what our our thought process is? I mean, come on, man. What in a Pan-African nonsense? What is this? So, it's not about hating anybody. It's just that, respect, we live in a world where people can identify however they want to identify. I'd like to know why it's so important to you that you control or have a say in how we identify ourselves. We got people that are born with a certain anatomy, now telling you that they're a different anatomy. And we got people that want to fight to have them to be able to say that right. And all I'm saying is, okay, fine, have at it. Be yourself. Do what you want to do. Why do we have so many melanated people from around the globe so concerned with how we see ourselves? And those same people will quickly tell us we ain't African. I don't get it. It's like they want us to be tethered to them. And since we refuse that, they mad. Well, stay mad. Stay mad, Johnson. Stay mad. Yeah, stay mad. My father's from D.C., my mom's from New York. And that's what it is. All right, people, thank you for being here tonight. My name is Tim Black. We do a live stream here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Tonight's show is brought to you by Beyond the Talking Points. That's my show. I co-host with my good friend, Dr. Musa Abdullah. We do that every second Thursday of every month, and we get it in. Find out more about us and follow him at All Things Education Official on YouTube and the FBA Educator on TikTok. I'm Real Tim Black on X and on Facebook, and I'm Tim Black Show on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you to my moderators for your time. Thank you, Rain. Thank you, Nene. Thank you, Elizabeth. You are the best. Thank you to all my Tim Black Wolfpack members, man, who keep the show going. I appreciate y'all becoming members. Remember, we got a free newsletter that comes out every Monday. This week was Tuesday, but usually it's every Monday. It always gives you one to grow on. So sign up, become a member of the Wolfpack, and we'll keep it cracking. Thank y'all for being here. And as always, fam, stay bold, stay courageous, but most of all, stay dangerous. Because lies are easy. Lies are safe. It's the truth that's dangerous. Stay dangerous. All right, fam. Thank y'all. Wow. I don't know what happened there, Rain. Nasir? I see Clown. Oh, God. This guy, some people, I'm not even going to put him in there, man. He's just too crazy. I saw somebody's comment. I ain't gonna put it out there. He don't deserve a limelight. But thank you to Quan Life for supporting this show, man. I appreciate you. Look, guys, we got people that do what they do because they trolls. We got people that do what they do because they real people. I do what I do because I got a great family that I love. Shout out to the Tim Black household, my kids, my sons and my daughters, and my beautiful wife. I love you. I'm coming to join you, honey. It's Friday. I'm pouring the champagne. There you go, there you go. There go my people, that's my little brother. He ain't so little no more. Baby, you cannot be in the sink